You're not bad at time management. You're just bleeding time from one hidden source, and you don't even know it. And until you find that source, no planner, no app, no morning routine is going to save you. Here's what most people do when they feel like they're falling behind. They buy a new planner, they download another productivity app, they set 17 alarms, reorganize their calendar, and watch a video, probably a lot like this one, hoping someone will hand them the secret. And then Monday comes and they're right back where they started. Overwhelmed, behind, wondering where the day went. I know, because that was me. For years, I was obsessed with managing my time better. I tried time blocking, I tried the Pomodoro method, I tried waking up at 5 in the morning. Some of it worked for a week, none of it stuck. And then I realized the problem. I wasn't bad at managing my time. I was trying to organize time I had already lost. I was rearranging furniture on a sinking ship. Today, I want to show you the single habit that changed everything for me. It's not flashy. Nobody sells a course on it, but it is the reason I went from feeling like I never had enough hours in the day to genuinely, for the first time, feeling like I was in control of my life. Before I tell you the habit, I want you to understand why you need it, because this isn't just about discipline or willpower. There's actual science behind why you feel like time slips through your fingers. Let me ask you something. Think about the last task you put on your to-do list. Maybe it was writing an email, cleaning your apartment, finishing a report. How long did you think it would take? And how long did it actually take? If you're like most people, the real number was significantly higher than your estimate. And that's not a character flaw. That's a well-documented cognitive bias called the planning fallacy. The planning fallacy was first identified by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, two of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century. What they found is that human beings are consistently and predictably terrible at estimating how long things will take. We're not just a little off. Studies show that on average, people underestimate task duration by roughly 40%. 40%. Think about what that means for your day. If you plan 8 hours of work, you actually need about 11 hours to finish everything, but you don't have 11 hours. So what happens? Things pile up, you push tasks to tomorrow, tomorrow pushes to next week, and you end up in this constant state of feeling behind, not because you're lazy, but because your brain lied to you about how long things would take. Richard Wiseman, a psychologist who has spent years studying how people experience and use time, found something else that's fascinating. He found that the people who feel most in control of their time aren't the ones who plan the most. They're the ones who are most accurate about where their time actually goes. They don't have more hours, they have more awareness. And that distinction between planning your time and understanding your time is the entire foundation of what I'm about to share with you. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. You can't fix a problem you can't see. And right now, most of us can't see where our time is actually going. We have a vague sense. We know we waste time on our phones. We know we get distracted, but vague awareness isn't enough. You need precise data. You need a map. So here's the habit. It's called a time audit. And before you click away because it sounds boring, hear me out. Because this simple practice gave me more clarity in 1 week than years of productivity hacks ever did. Here's how it works. For 7 days, just 1 week, you're going to track every 30-minute block of your day. That's it. No special app required. No complicated system. You just write down what you did. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, every half hour, you make a quick note. It doesn't have to be detailed. It can be as simple as 7 to 7:30, got ready. 7:30 to 8, commute. 8 to 8:30, emails. 8:30 to 9, still emails. 9 to 9:30, scrolled Twitter and didn't realize it. And that last one, that's the whole point. You're not tracking your time to judge yourself. You're tracking your time to catch the moments that disappear without your permission. The moments you wouldn't have noticed if you weren't writing them down. No judgment. That part is critical. This is not about beating yourself up. This is about collecting honest data. Think of yourself as a scientist studying your own behavior. You're not the subject on trial. You're the researcher. At the end of the 7 days, you sit down and review everything. And I promise you, what you find will surprise you. When I did my first time audit, I thought my biggest problem was procrastination. I thought I was putting off important work because I lacked motivation. But when I looked at the data, that wasn't the issue at all. My number one time leak was something I never would have guessed: decision fatigue. I was spending an absurd amount of time every day just deciding what to do next. I'd finish one task, and instead of moving to the next one, I'd spend 15 or 20 minutes debating with myself. Should I answer emails? Should I work on that project? Should I take a break first? And while I was deciding, I'd pick up my phone just to fill the gap, and suddenly 30 minutes were gone. That pattern was invisible to me before the audit. Completely invisible. I would have told you I spent maybe 20 minutes a day on my phone outside of work. The real number was closer to 3 hours. And I'm not unusual. The most common time leaks people discover when they do this are phone scrolling, which everyone suspects but nobody quantifies, decision fatigue, which almost nobody talks about, and task switching, which is the habit of bouncing between projects without finishing any of them. Once you identify your number one leak, just the biggest one, you have something most people never get. A specific, concrete target, not a vague goal like be more productive, an actual behavior you can change, and that changes everything. So let's make this real. Let's talk about how you actually start your time audit today. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, today. Step 1, choose your tracking tool. You have 3 options and all of them work. Option 1 is paper, a small notebook you carry with you or a printed template you keep on your desk. This is what I used the first time, and there's something about physically writing it down that makes you more honest. Option 2 is your phone's notes app. Just open a new note each morning and add entries as you go. And option 3 is a free app called Toggle. Toggl. It's a time tracking tool that was originally built for freelancers, but it works perfectly for a personal time audit. You tap a button when you start something, tap again when you stop, and it builds the log for you. Any of these will work. Pick the one you'll actually use, not the one that seems most impressive. The best system is the one you stick with. Step 2, set your tracking window. You don't have to track 24 hours. Track from the time you wake up to the time you start winding down for bed. For most people, that's roughly 16 hours. Every 30 minutes, note what you did. If you forget a block, that's fine. Just write, don't remember, and that itself becomes data. If you can't remember what you did for 30 minutes, that's probably a leak. Step 3, no changes during the audit week. This is the hardest part. For 7 days, do not try to improve. Do not try to be more productive because you know you're being tracked. Just live your normal life and record it. If you change your behavior during the observation period, you corrupt the data. You need to see the real picture, not the version of yourself that's performing for the notebook. Step 4, review day by day, then zoom out. Now let me show you why this matters so much. Let's say your time audit reveals that you're losing 90 minutes a day. That might sound like a lot, but for most people, it's actually conservative. 90 minutes of scrolling, of indecision, of switching between tabs without doing anything meaningful. 90 minutes a day is 10.5 hours a week. That's 42 hours a month. And over the course of a year, that's 547 hours. But let's be conservative and account for days off and imperfect execution. Even if you only reclaim 70% of that time, you're looking at 395 hours. 395 hours. That's the equivalent of almost 10 full work weeks. That is enough time to write a book, to learn an instrument, to build a side business, to get in the best shape of your life. Not by adding more hours to your day, you can't do that, but by reclaiming the ones you were already losing. And it all starts with 1 week of paying attention. So here's what I want to ask you. If you made it this far, you're clearly someone who cares about how you spend your time. You're not here by accident. And that means you're exactly the kind of person who would benefit from doing this. So here's this week's challenge. Start your time audit today, not tomorrow. Today, pick your tool, paper, phone, or Toggle, and start logging your 30-minute blocks. Do it for 7 days. And at the end of the week, find your number one time leak. If you want, drop a comment below telling me you're starting. I read every single one, and there's something powerful about saying it out loud. Even if out loud means typing it in a YouTube comment section. Accountability matters. And if this video helped you, if it gave you even one idea you're going to use, I'd appreciate it if you hit subscribe. I put out a new video every week on habits, focus, and building a life that actually feels like yours. No hype, no gimmicks, just things that work. The next video I'd recommend is one I made about the 3 types of rest most people never get. It pairs well with this one because once you reclaim your time, you need to know how to actually use it. And rest is a bigger part of that than most people think.